Everybody thinks that to be a writer, you just simply need to have the motivation to write, and then everything is going to be easy from there. And I'm going to tell you this right now that is really far from the truth. Doing any sort of writing is tough for most of us. Some of us it comes a little easier than others, but for most of us it's a real struggle to get those words down. And I'm going to tell you that you're absolutely normal to view it as a grind. And I've been doing it for 20 years now since I started graduate school, and it doesn't get any easier. In fact, maybe it gets harder with more experience. I don't know. But I want to talk about that today in terms of getting the motivation to write and to actually get things down on paper. So if you don't know me, I am Professor Dave Maslach. I'm an Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I wanted to pay the favor forward to help you out. So I created this sort of sharing economy editing platform where you can get writing or you can get feedback on your writing. And now I'm doing this giant YouTube channel and as well as a large blog to help you out. So writing is difficult for me, and I've been doing this, like I said, since probably even before graduate school, probably way back into grade school now. So that's going on many years. It's going on like 35 years that I've sat down and I've had to write something. And every time I do that, I find it next to impossible to do that. And it does not get any easier. Now, I've found out in the last few years that I do have ADHD and I struggle with that, but I don't think that that is unusual in this world. We all have something that we have to cope with and we have to deal with, whether it is family commitments or whether it is something that you're really struggling with, or maybe you have extreme anxiety. Whatever it is, we all have something that we're coping with that pulls us back from actually getting down and writing those words. Ultimately, to actually get anything down, you have to simply just start, and you have to want it. It is not to do with motivation and willing your way to actually get there. It's just actually getting down and doing it. Now, is it easier if you write about things that you actually like? I don't think so, to be honest. I don't think it necessarily changes if you write about your own interest versus something that is very difficult to write about. I write about both of those things, and they're both difficult to get those words down. Now, what I do know is it's perhaps easier in the sense that you can come to the ideas a little bit easier if you write about the things that happen to you and that tell your experience, because it comes naturally to you. So if there is a moment where you struggle, you could talk about that. And that's why I'm actually talking about the motivation to write, because it is a struggle for me every day. I get up and I start thinking about it, and I just say, I don't want to do it. It doesn't get easier. But what does get me going is going and actually starting, getting my butt to the seat. Well, for my case, I stand, so getting my eyeballs on that screen and easing my way into it. And it doesn't change, doesn't get easier, but if I get myself into that mode and I start getting into the practice of doing it, it actually can begin. Now, when I'm writing, can I sit there and write the whole day like some people? Not really. I need to take a lot of breaks. I get interruptions, I mind wander, I go in this direction, I go in that direction. And you shouldn't beat yourself up for when that happens, when your mind starts going in different directions and you can't sort of get yourself back onto it. But you just have to take a step, Go for a little break. Usually for me, if my mind starts really wandering and I start, reading an article or something along those lines, a newspaper article or something, well, it's interesting. It usually is a signal for me to take a break and go and get some minor form of exercise. Then I go back and I actually can start writing a little bit more. And now if it's 20 minutes, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. If it's 40 minutes, that's great. Now, for me, I can't write more than an hour in a row, or else it's just too much. I get overwhelmed and I can't focus anymore. So I have to take those breaks. So what I'm getting at with you is, don't be upset with yourself if it's a grind. It's a grind for everyone. And we just simply have to take one step ahead of the other. And you just do that day in and day out. Some days you're not going to feel like you're going to want to write. That's okay. You write anyways. Other days it feels great to get up and get going. You write on those days too. But on the days where you feel like you haven't gotten anywhere, all that really matters is that you just write one word. That means you've actually accomplished something. If it's less than one word, then you can beat yourself up. But you just have to write that one little word. If you do that, it will get easier as you get going, because you get into a state of flow. It feels like you're not even there. So what I'm getting at here, don't beat yourself up if it's difficult to get yourself motivated to write. We all struggle with it. You just simply have to get going and get started. It's not about motivation. It's not about having the gumption. It's not about anything. It's just a matter of actually getting going and writing that one word. All right, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Bye.